Today I want to make a video for the young people out there, or people who are young at heart, people who want to see their life for what it really is intended for. I'm talking about leadership. All of us are born to be leaders, and all of us have the capacity, the capability, and the availability to become leaders. And when we look at leaders, we tend to look at people like, let's say, the President of the United States, or maybe a governor, a boss, maybe someone on a team, a captain of a team, someone who stands out, someone who's elected, someone who tells you, vote for me and I'll make your life better. But I'm talking more about you as an individual, in your home, in your life, in your community. We're all born to be leaders. And the reason that we're all not is because we feel that, it's a privileged type of thing. But it's not. You can be a leader in your own world, in your own life, by just adhering to certain standards. Okay. The first thing is leaders are born. Okay. But they are also made. It means that if you were born to be a leader, you have to learn to be a leader. You have to learn what it is to take care of what you have. Now, the first thing you have is your body and your mind. So therefore, a leader is someone who wants to explore the possibilities on a level which is a sense of leadership, being a leader. It's not about competition. It's about trying to be the best version of yourself and taking advantage of a situation that you find yourself in. It's like if I'm in school and I'm learning a lesson, then I'm going to give my attention to what is being taught, and I will strive to make it useful in my life. So I will lead myself through that process. And then once I derive something from it, I will start to help other people. So like someone who's a tutor, a teacher, a mentor, a coach, whatever. You start to help people out doing whatever it is that you have mastered. And then the next thing you want to understand is that you have to learn what is already there. You can't come into the arena of learning with the attitude that I already know how to do it. You need to model. So, for example, if you see someone who is good at doing something, then you copy what they've done. You model after what they did, and then you become acquainted with it. Now, when it comes to learning, it's important for us to overcome our own sense of doubt. Example: people often assume that someone else is better off than they are. It's like the green grass theory. The grass is greener on the other side. Remember one time I was driving a woman in my cab, and she was going to meet her daughter, and she told me that her daughter is in college and she's learning to speak Chinese. And as you know, I've been studying Chinese for a while, and so I taught her a phrase in Chinese. I taught her how to say "I love you" in Chinese. I forgot what you didn't realize the proud of daughter, and so she went over that with me. And I assumed that her daughter's, she's in college, and they said she's actually been to Shanghai. So I figured, she's just going to be way better than me in Chinese. So when we met her, and her mother surprised her. She didn't tell her she was coming, and we met her and said, "Oh wow, Mom's here." And she said, "Oh yeah." She says, "I just came from the airport, and this guy drove me here. Nice guy, and he studies Chinese too. He taught me how to say it's here." And so she said, "I love you" in Chinese. And daughter didn't understand what she said. She said, "What was that?" And then she said it properly. She understood it. Then I looked at her and I said to her in Chinese, I said, "I also have been studying Chinese." And she said, "Huh? I don't understand what you're saying." And so my assumption of her was wrong. I assumed she was better than me. And in fact, she was worse. She wasn't as good as me at all. And maybe she wasn't prepared for me to say something. Maybe I said it wrong, but I don't think so. And it really showed me that a lot of times we look at people and we say, oh, yeah, this person is better than me. And so, I feel like I'm dumb. Well, what you want to do is you want to go to the source. You don't assume certain people who are in your same level are better than you. You can link up with somebody, study with somebody, but if you want to be a leader, you need to go to someone who you know has been proven to be better than you, and then become their pupil, become someone who you can really derive from that person something that's going to help you. So the first point is we're born leaders, but we have to learn to be leaders. And we can't use our own knowledge. We have to use the knowledge that has been given to us by those who are in position to teach us. It's so important. Now, when we look at the aspects of leadership, we can see many things. For example, how a person handles themselves, how they speak, how they react, how they live, how they drive, how they talk, and physically how they look. Like, how is their form? Now we're talking about someone being tall or short or bald or like that. We're talking about someone who is healthy because of a concerted effort and an attention to nutrition. Now, there's been a lot of speculation about diet and what we should eat, but I think it's been proven over and over again that people who avoid certain types of foods have a better experience in life. Now, when you talk about vegetarian or vegan or someone who is maybe an octo-ovo, maybe use a word, person who still eats eggs and they still drink milk, or someone who is into a plant-based life, totally raw food, which is like uncooked, you're going to find some differences. But I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about someone who chooses to eat the proper amount of food, the right time, give their body a chance to rest. They might even fast. They avoid certain things that are, let's put it this way, they avoid things that you don't find in nature. So a person who is trying to be a leader with their body would not eat things in cans. They would not eat things in packages. They would not eat things that are processed, that are put together in a way which is not natural. And a lot of times they probably wouldn't eat things that are killed. Okay. Again, that's a controversial thing because man does eat, meat. But if you look at the results of eating meat as opposed to eating vegetables and fruit, then you would see that you can eat meat, but you shouldn't eat meat every day. Just like you can eat anything, but you shouldn't. If you want to be a leader, you don't let those things overtake your life. And so leadership starts with leading yourself in a nutrition way, in a way that you say, okay, I'm going to eat things that will help my body, not just excite my body. It's like if you look at most Americans, you'll see there are people who are fat, and some are like grossly overweight, and it's not because of genes. Heredity doesn't come into play when you're always eating junk food and you're not exercising and you're not resting properly, you're not drinking enough water, and the body starts to show itself as being basically diseased, okay, which means not being at ease. It's diseased. It's diseased. It's under stress. The stress of trying to break down food, the stress of trying to cram a lot of food into your body in a short duration of time. So you find that if you want to be a leader, you have to, first of all, lead a healthy life. You have to lead a life of rest. You have to lead a life of exercise. You have to lead a life of giving yourself what you need. So again, you can use that as a hook. So if you want to be a leader, you have to lead a life of whatever these things we're talking about. They have to be in front of you, not just something that you do casually, but you actively look for ways to make these things part of your life. Now, another thing about being a leader is that people say, well, anybody can't be a leader because if anybody's a leader, then who's a follower? Who follows? It's not about being a leader over people. It's about being a leader over your life. So you can be a leader. You can get out there and herald a position or a cause. That's fine. But I'm saying that when you see a person who takes care of themselves and their family and their children and their community, and they do a good job, they do an exemplary job, they're showing leadership. They're showing that this thing is important. And so we can all do that. And now when it comes to children, it's important that, parents show the children a proper way of living their life, giving them direction so that they don't become part of the tapestry of people who just watch TV for hours and hours and don't rest properly and don't eat properly and don't live properly. Now, we know there's such thing out there called religion. And religion is, again, I'm not going to put people down who are religious. I'm just saying that religion is an example of people trying to appease something other than themselves because they think they have to. So, we go to church and we pray and we sing and we make overt overtures of adoration, but then we get back home, we watch TV, we spend time on Facebook hours and hours, or even do things that are kind of not considered Christian, like watching porn or watching certain movies that are just full of violence and just doing things that would not be considered to be religious, would not be considered to be part of your chosen religion. But a person who's a leader doesn't have this sense of connection to God in the sense of, he doesn't belong. He's not part of the family. It's like if I get my directions from the Bible, it's going to tell me how to live when it comes to dealing with my wife or dealing with the community or dealing with my family or dealing with my neighbor, my boss at work, the cop, the stranger, whatever it may be. It's going to be a lifestyle. And so I don't have to run around saying, hey, I have a cross around my neck or I have a big hat or I wear a collar, because you need to respect my costume, as opposed to saying, you know what, I'm going to learn not to react when you yell at me, or I'm not going to be a person of road rage, or I'm going to be that person who you can look at and saying, this is a good person on earth. If a stranger comes up to me and asks me for direction, they know that I'm a safe person. If a person asks me to help them, they know that I'm trustworthy. I'm not going to try to take advantage of them. And so it's sad that in this world there are people who right now, like today is it's near the end of of August, and it's like maybe by the time you watch this video, something else has happened. Another mass shooting. Someone killed somebody. Somebody was involved in a car accident. Somebody was found to be unfaithful in their role as in the public, and they were disgraced. There are people out there right now who are going to be exposed, who are going to do things that they planned on doing, in secret, and now it's been revealed, or they did things that they didn't want to do, but their reactions were so conditioned by the media, by watching TV and seeing things on TV that show that it's okay to swear at somebody, or to punch somebody, or to shoot somebody, because you felt obligated to. Remember, like someone said, "Oh yeah, this person, they're not mean. They just whenever you attack them, they attack back, even more so." And that's not what leaders do. Leaders think, and then they react. They don't just, let's just put it this way: leaders would think and then respond, not just react. Okay, and so being a leader is about learning to look at your life as being important, not only today but in the future. It's like if you ever said something to somebody, you might yell at that person, said something or done something to them, and after like reviewing it, you said, "I need to apologize to this person. I need to, say I'm sorry." But that's what a leader does. A person who has this mindset, first they try not to do anything that's going to be, disruptive or cruel. But if they do, they look at it again and they realize, yeah, they have that empathy, and they say, "Oh, yeah, I was wrong." And so I learned from that. We learn from making mistakes. But a person who doesn't want to repent and say they're sorry, well, then that's who they are. So yeah, this person, that's just Bob. Bob is that kind of person. Or that's just Mary. Mary is that kind of person. You don't be that kind of person. A leader is someone who has a personality that they learned from someone who they admired, who was a leader, and they walk in that same vein. It's like, you don't want to just do things because you feel you want to do them. You've learned to do certain things. It's like when you're driving on the highway and you see cars, they're running stop signs, or they're speeding, or they're just doing things. Like I live in a street where it's a stop sign and people just don't stop for it. They just go through it. I mean, I had 10 cars, 8 will just go right through the stop sign. But when I come to the stop sign, I stop. I wait 3 seconds, I look both ways, and I proceed. I don't care that every other car in front of me just blew through the stop sign. Maybe the guy behind me expects me to do the same thing. I'm trying to not just be a law-abiding citizen, I'm trying to be a leader in the community. So I will give an example of someone who is not going to just blow through a light and not going to speed because someone blew the horn and make you feel like, hey, you better move. It's important to be, different than people who are trying to do bad things, because they're going to pay for it in the end. Another thing I'll talk about is a leader tries to use dependence. Now I talked about you don't use your own ways. You learn from someone who is better than you, but also try to use what is available through nature. I'll give an example. It's like if I'm thirsty, nature has provided water, and water is proven to take care of your thirst. It's what your body is composed of. You need water in your life. But if you would say to yourself, well, I don't want to depend on water, I'll be an independent drinker and I will drink pop. Well, there's still water inside of the soda. There's still water inside of the concentrated orange juice that you drink, or the apple juice. There's still water inside the beer. But the things that are unnatural, or the processes that they do to make them, makes it not so good for your body. And it doesn't show a leadership quality by you continually drinking soda and drinking juice. Do you know they say that when a person gives their child a glass of um, apple juice or orange juice, best to use orange juice, and it's more than this much of the glass. Like say glass was this big, and you give a child about this much, you need to ask the doctor's permission or advice to give a child a full glass of orange juice, because there's so much sugar inside that it's going to just do bad things to the body. But we don't know that. It's like we think that because it's something that it's from an orange, and so it must be okay. But if you think about it, if you if you were to squeeze some orange juice and put it into a cup, and then you left it on the shelf for 3 hours, it wouldn't be edible. Okay, you would make it into a poison. But you take the same thing and you take the orange juice that is processed and they put it on a shelf and it's not refrigerated, it can be there for months. And as a matter of fact, by the time you get the orange juice and the apple juice that you find in the stores, it's over a year old. So it's to think about, how can someone take apple juice, which you can really find that in the non-frozen section, non-refrigerated section of the grocery stores. It's just sitting there. It's just a big old bottle of apple juice, and you say, "Oh well, it's apple juice." It's not. It's processed. It's pure sugar. And it's not good for you. So, if you want to depend on nature, then you would squeeze your own orange juice, or you would eat an orange, eat an apple, eat a grape. But if you want to be independent of the natural and healthy ways, then you will use man-made ways of drinking juices and drinking beverages, which are not going to help your body. They may assist in a certain way, but your body has to get through all of the junk to find the water. And there's really nothing healthy inside of a processed cup of orange juice. It's really more poison for your body than assistance. It may quench your thirst because you have a sense of being satiated, but overall it's gonna hurt you on the inside. So we'll look at that. And another thing I want to talk about is the fact that when a person is looking at their environment and their body, it's important for you to decide who you want to be, who you want to end up being. It's like, if you're trying to go on a diet because you want to lose weight for a wedding or reunion or vacation, well, that's temporary. You decide who you want to end up being, how you want your life to be in 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now. So you decide what you're going to do. Another thing, being a leader is about utilizing money in the proper way. Do you know that if you go to Starbucks every day and you spend $5 a day buying these expensive coffees, if you were to take that same money and you were to invest it, you would probably have about maybe $200,000 over the next 20 years or so. So you take $5 a day, which is $1,875 a year, and you would invest that money and you would let it grow. There's a great possibility that it could grow into a whole lot of money for your future. So if you're 21 or 25 and then you look into the future when you're in your 40s or 50s and you don't have any money, you don't have any savings, there's nothing for your children's college fund, well, then you have to understand that if you can't see the future, then you're allowing that cup of coffee to cost you the amount of money you would have gotten had you not bought it and saved that money in a reasonable fashion. And people don't think about accumulation. They don't think about gratification for the moment. It's like I've given an example before of someone who says, I'm going to give you a job. I'm going to give you a job for a month. I'm going to give you two choices. The first choice would be I'm going to give you $100,000 right up front, work for 30 days. Or I'm going to give you a dime the first day, and I'm going to double it for 30 days. So you say to your spouse, hey, just got a new job, and I got $100,000 up front. And you say, wow, take that money and see you in a month. Or you come back and you say, I got this new job and I got a dime the first day. And then the next day it's gonna give me 20 cents and then 40 cents. So you come home after work and your wife says, what do you got? I got a dime. Okay. Come back next day. What do you got? I got 20 cents. Next day, I got 40 cents. And your wife says, man, you were stupid. What the heck are you doing? But you have to understand that after a month, you have over $1 million. Okay, I believe it would be about $108 million. You can just math yourself. But the point is, it's a lot of money because you took something that you looked at and you saw a future in it, and so you did the small thing, but then you doubled your efforts. You made a better effort to it, and it got better and better and better. And so same thing with your health, with your education, with your finances, with your life. Just do the right thing today and try to make it a little bit better every day, and you'll see the results. It's not about getting it all done in one day, but it is about getting it all started in one day. So, here's an example of math. If you want to get good at math, you learn your timetables, and then you learn how to multiply. 1 by 1, then 2 by 1, then 2 by 2, then 3 by 2, 3 by 3. You just go one step at a time. You'll be able to start to think mathematically, and you'll have less anxiety. Or with your body, if you, instead of trying to do 100 push-ups, try to do one push-up and do one more. So after a while, you start to see you did one push-up and say, can I do one more? Yeah. 2 push-ups, can I do one more? 3 push-ups, can I do one more? After a while, you'll find that you're able to do 100 because your one more became one more, one more, one more. So instead of saying, I'm trying to do 50 push-ups, you just say, I'm going to do one push-up and then see if I can do one more and see if I can do one more. That's what it's about. So if you're trying to save money, you can say, okay, I'm going to save $1. Or you can say, every time I go to a store and I give $1, I'm going to save the change. Or every time I buy something, I'm going to save 10% of the total, put that away somewhere. It's about thinking yourself into these realities. It's not about just hoping, but it's planning. And that's what leaders do. So leaders, they plan and they look at what they want to end up being. Okay? Because people, they end up being broke or end up being fat or end up being divorced or end up losing their job, end up in prison because they didn't plan. Very few people go out there and say, okay, I'm going to, plan to marry this woman and then I'm going to just, divorce her in about 5 years. It's not that way. It's not like there's an expiration date on a spouse. Or someone will say, yeah, I'm going to plan to be 18 and be a father, unwed father. Or I'm going to be 24 and be dead. No, these things happen because they failed to look at what they wanted for their life in the future. So, being a leader it's an awesome responsibility. It's something that you need to research, something you need to look into, but it's something that you need to prepare yourself for because it's your natural state. It's not, it's like someone who is a leader. It's not like they feel like, wow, this is a strange world I'm in. No, it's kind of like it's natural. It's like they may not have planned to be a leader in the beginning, but then something they felt was important, like Rosa Parks or something like that. She didn't plan to be a leader, but she had the goal of staying in her seat. And so she became a leader and she took that responsibility. So Mother Teresa, same thing. She didn't plan to be what she ended up being, but once she saw a need, she said, yeah, this is where I need to be. So a lot of times things cause you to arrive and become the person who you were meant to be. And so it's a good thing. And so I'll end this here. I can continue to talk about the subject in my next video or in the future, but suffice to say, I want people to understand that in this world, we are all born to be leaders. We're supposed to be leaders. It's a responsibility for us to live our best life and not just to do it for ourselves, but to do it for the world. It's like planting a seed and the tree comes out. But if the tree doesn't provide fruit, then its full capacity is not realized. And if you are a seed and then you produce a tree and then there is fruit, the fruit is not for you, it's for the world, it's for others. And so it's important to know that what we're doing is not just for ourselves. It's for everyone in our world, in our environment, in our sphere of influence. But it starts with us recognizing that, yes, I am a leader. You are a leader. You are a leader. So let's get out there and lead. And let's live our best lives. And let's continue to hold on to that mindset. Because the world will tell you, it's just a fluke. You're not really a leader. But, it's just some kind of a pop culture thing or it's just a fad. No. When you decide that you want to be a leader and you decide how you want to end up, you'll find a way. And I hope that I can help you by saying anything. So thanks for watching. Please like,